that we want to know more about, Dane. Talk us through the two teams, starting with Brazil.
First off is a look at Barbara Sejas. She just goes by Barbara, the 2012 Rookie of the Year on the FIVB World Tour, a 2016 Olympic silver medalist with her former partner, Agata. She's 30 years of age, out of Rio de Janeiro. Look for her to play some spectacular defense in the backcourt. Her partner is Fernanda, 32 years of age, 6'2". She's the blocking specialist, up at the net at 189 centimeters tall. She's got a couple of victories under her belt already. This team has all sorts of experience. They have been to the finals before. This is their 11th event as a team, and they're looking to make some noise. On the other side of the net, there's a look at Brooke Sweat, as you mentioned, Nick, the local girl from Fort Myers, just across the way, so the fans will be behind her all the way. 19th place in the 2016 Olympics, not the best Olympic performances she was looking for with her former partner, Lauren Fendrick, but she will be an Olympian for life. She gets everything out of that 5'8" frame. A smaller player, but she can dice it around. Her partner is Summer Ross. Summer Ross won the under 19 and under 21 championships in the same year. The first player to ever do so. She's looking for her first FIVB victory. Really energetic, fun player who is very intense and puts up a wall at the net. For the United States to win, Summer Ross is going to have to really have some special blocks up there.
And to make your life even more difficult, Dane, as our expert analyst here, they're one-on-one on the head-to-head, so they're both feeling confident out there. The reward today is huge. Into the gold medal match at the first major of the season. But of course, with the local support for the American ladies, I'd like to go with Team USA to cause yet another big surprise.
Well, you know, we already have Carol and Tayana in the finals, so everyone wants to see the rivalry. USA, Brazil, so we'll see what happens here. This is going to be a huge battle for Team USA if they're going to overcome the Brazilians. That shot poked over. I think that might work early on in the tournament, but against this solid team, you're going to have to play a little more conventional. But Brooke Sweat is one of the best out there at really mixing it up and using special shots to her advantage.
Barbara with service. First point on the board already for Brazil. Summer Ross with a good attack to try and pull one back. Sweat sets it up, over on two for USA. Brazil are out of position here. Finally, Summer Ross gets that shot down to tie the scores. You called it perfectly, Dane. This is a class team from Brazil. Experience, Olympic medals, World Championship titles. You can't hustle and bustle. It's got to be tactical and clean from Team USA to win this match.
Yeah, in the quarterfinals, wow. Brazil was on fire, took down the Czech Republic 21-14, 21-15, and look at that hit. Fernanda going right off the side of the head of Brooke Sweat. So a wake-up call early here on a Saturday for Brooke Sweat. Got to get her hands up. We call that getting handcuffed. When you're thinking you're going to dig the ball underhand, it comes high, you don't have time to get your hands up, and you take it off the side of the face.
Yes, the Brazilians have come on court, firing on all cylinders here. Summer Ross wins the joust at the net. America tie the scores at 2 points all. It's a good start for the American blocker, Ross. 25 years of age, out of San Diego, California. Brooke Sweat may be looking the nervous of the two American players, but Summer Ross has come fully prepared in the early exchanges. Oh, another great shot from Fernanda.
It looked like Brooke Sweat had read that ball. Took a few steps to the line. Surprised she didn't lay it out. She is so good at really laying it out at the last second, sticking that arm out and getting that ball up into play.
Barbara with a deep service. Again, Summer Ross deciding to go over on the second contact, catching the Brazilians out of position.
You're going to see a lot of this by Team USA, the option play. They're going to be serving Brooke Sweat, Brazil is, and if she has the opportunity to really set up Summer Ross to hit it on that second contact, then she will.
Another big power play from Fernanda at the net. She really is swinging that arm and getting some power on the ball. 7 points total on the board. A quick side switch. The wind is gusting, but across the court, not from one end or the other. Here's Fernanda with service. Right down the middle of the court, splits the two American players. A little bit of indecision from Brooke Sweat, and the first break on the board for Brazil.
That's the best place to serve, especially if you're undecided which player to go to. Serve it right down the middle, make those players make a decision. There's another solid serve right down the middle, and Brooke Sweat passes. It looked like Brazil wasn't ready. They have to be ready for that over on two, because the United States is going to do that as many times as possible to relieve some of the pressure off of Brooke Sweat.
Yeah, 4 points on the board for the USA, and 3 of them have come from an over on two shot. But again, this time it is Barbara Seixas that has the power and the spike at the net. Keeps that break and 2 point advantage for Brazil, 6-4.
Be interesting, the strategy for the United States, if they can find someone to pick on. Not a lot of choices, because here you see Barbara Seixas with that left hand. It's so deceptive. That time the poke shot going out of bounds, but you don't play a lot of left-handed players, so when you do, you got to make some adjustments, move your block in a little bit on that right side. And a very uncharacteristic, unforced error by Barbara Seixas.
And Brooke Sweat gets her first point on the board. Ties the scores at 6-all. Good play from Team USA.
Brooke Sweat is just such an amazing player. So deceptive at the last second, turning it down the line, catching Brazil off guard, and one of the most creative players, always coming up with different shots and having a lot of success doing so.
Lovely float serve from Brooke, and a great dig again.
That's a tough pass, and wow.
That's a confidence-building point for the Americans. Best rally of this second semi-final so far. But Summer Ross puts it away, Dave.
Summer Ross hanging in there. Look at Brooke Sweat putting that ball on top of the net. Poke shot right in the middle of the court. And Barbara all over the court, getting that ball up in the air. And then finally Summer Ross sees the opening down the line and executes, and the United States takes the lead.
It's a good service run from Brooke Sweat. Again targeting Barbara with the service. Tries to get a little too much cut on the ball, the Brazilian. It's a side switch, it's a break for the Americans at 8-6.
Brooke Sweat from the United States, 2016 Olympian, just 5'8", a defensive specialist in the backcourt, playing some of the best volleyball of her career this weekend here in Fort Lauderdale.
Well, as if Barbara wanted to prove to herself that she could get the angles right. This time she cuts the ball perfectly to pull the point back for Brazil.
Yeah, really great rotation on the ball. When you put that top spin rotation on the ball, it dies faster, gets to the ground a little bit quicker.
Fernanda with service. Set from Ross. Lovely little touch on the ball. Well, was there a touch there? No touch from the Brazilian blocker. And the point goes to Brazil to tie at 8-all.
That's a tough play right there. Summer Ross at 6'1", going up against the 6'2" Fernanda. A little intimidated maybe, trying to tool the block, and ends up erring, hitting that ball just out.
Great block from Fernanda, taking full advantage of her height. Tallest player on the court at 6'2" or 189 centimeters.
And that's what Summer Ross trying to avoid, getting blocked by Fernanda, who is one of the most effective blockers on tour. You want to go high off her hands. If you challenge her, that's what you risk, that ball coming right back at you.
Good play from Summer Ross.
Big hit there, and you saw in that serve receive, Summer Ross taking a little more of the court, kind of cheating in the middle, trying to relieve pressure off of Brooke Sweat, receiving every single ball. So anytime that Summer can get that serve receive, she'll do it, because she has that powerful arm coming in from the left side.
Score's tied at 9-all in this opening set of the second semi-final here on center court. Fernanda on the attack for Brazil, goes over the top of Summer Ross's block.
Making it look easy right there. Fernanda with a pokey, we call that. Close the fingers and you hit that ball with the knuckles right over. It's a finesse shot, but not everybody has it.
Well, that wasn't the best of sets from Summer Ross for her partner, Sweat Brooke. Brooke Sweat, even, I should say. But with Fernanda at the net, you have to be so accurate.
Yeah, it's just too tight of a set for Brooke Sweat. You got to keep her a couple feet off the net to give her room. That ball is too tight as well. And it looks like that is hit directly out of bounds, but the United States looks like they're going to challenge for a touch on the block. Each team gets 2 challenges per set. If you're unsuccessful, you lose those challenges. If you are successful, you retain them. So basically, if you're correct, you have unlimited challenges, and it's a really great system. The Hawkeye system, 15 cameras, all running at close to 200 frames per second. So pretty much everything is captured, and the referees have that opportunity to take a look. I'm not sure if there was a touch here. That ball looks like it goes out.
No touch.
Right on the outside of the hand. No touch of the block, so unsuccessful. It's going to be a point for Brazil. The United States just has 1 challenge left, but I think a good situation to use that challenge.
Well, I think they took it, Dane, as well, because on the previous block it looked like there was a touch, and they weren't going to let it go by for a second time of asking. We're at the technical timeout. 21 points total on the board. A 1-minute break. Team USA starting well. The favourites, Brazil, in their traditional yellow and green vests. Now, service placement, Dane, is something that's always intriguing. It gives us an insight into the tactical play. Let's take a look where Brazil have been putting their ball. I think we know the answer here.
Well, it's all about Brooke Sweat or the middle of the court. You see, Summer Ross has kind of pinched over and taken 1 or 2 serves, just 8%. But the strategy for Brazil, serve Brooke Sweat, try to score some points off of her with her shots and run them down, rather than opting to go to Summer Ross, who is the taller, more powerful attacker. So that's the question usually, finesse or power. 72 degrees, 22 degrees Celsius. Just a beautiful day here in Fort Lauderdale. Always a little humid, but oh, there's an ace.
And that couldn't come at a more important time, straight off the back of the technical timeout. 13-9 now to Brazil. That's a lovely service from Barbara, giving the Americans no time to get back into their rhythm or flow. Here she is with service once again. This time over on 2 for the Americans. Summer Ross has been making that shot work for her almost every time she goes for it. And a valuable side out for the Americans. Here is Brooke Sweat now with service. Team USA need points on the board, and they need them quickly. Float serve to Fernanda. Great play from the Americans to keep the ball up. Fernanda for Brazil, over the top of the block, it's right on the line. 14-10.
Brazil really going at every ball. There's Sweat getting it up with the left hand. But Brazil tightening up their game, not giving away any unforced errors right now, and prolonging some of the rallies and then taking the open shot when it presents itself. And 4-point lead is a significant lead here as we're past the halfway point.
Well, service error from Fernanda. Something that we haven't seen in this first set from the Brazilian blocker. Here's a chance for the Americans with Samaros to serve. Samaros serving to Fernanda again. And Fernanda, she's put some very powerful spikes down. Real aggressive play from the Brazilian. And that's part of the reason why they hold on to that 4-point advantage.
That was an absolute crushing. She went at Summer.
Good play from Brazil. Confidence is high. 16-11. Barbara will take the service here. Samaros with the blonde, long ponytail. The brunette for Brooke Sweat. Starting to feel the pressure from the Brazilians now. Samaros again over on 2, again successful. Still a chance here for America to get back into this first set.
The big challenge is Brooke Sweat putting the ball away consistently. Brazil continues to go at her, and she's a finesse player. At 5'8", she kind of dices the ball around, has very accurate shots, and Brazil's hoping that she makes a mistake. And Samaras unable to get it over, and this 5-point lead is quite a lead here. Just 4 points away Brazil is from taking this.
Cross over the top, but it's too deep.
Brooke Sweat playing spectacular defense, giving the United States multiple opportunities. That time, Samaras trying to go little baby rainbow into the corner, and she misjudges it. It ends up about 6 inches long, and that was a huge opportunity to cut the lead. Instead, Brazil still retains that 5-point edge.
Well left by the Americans. Good call from Samaros to her partner. 15-18. It's a real test.
Yeah, all 4 players really going for it, and Brooke Sweat, Samaras really making some good decisions. Samaras dropping off the net, playing some really solid defense. And Brazil, though, even though United States winning that last one, it's Brazil that's really making it difficult for them.
EBS system, 25 jumps for Fernanda, 34 jumps. And look how many more kcals the American blocker is burning to stay in this first set. Over the top of the block again. 19-15 for Brazil, justifying the call for that timeout. Breaking the rhythm, breaking the focus, and well on their way to taking this first set now, Brazil.
Yeah, really a smart timeout to settle things and really get back on track. And that's what Brazil does. Everything is calculated. But they have to watch out. They're trying to serve Brooke Sweat, but Brooke is teeing up her partner, Samaras, every time. To prevent that, Brazil should serve that ball a little deeper, maybe with a little more loop in the corner over Brooke Sweat's right shoulder. But right now, Brooke Sweat is really putting the option pass in the perfect spot.
Samaros with service. Still opting to serve Fernanda. Oh, that ball a little long, maybe. Yes. Big point. Very valuable point for the USA. 17-19.
This ball is hit well. It's hit high. She got a little bit under it, and that resulted in it going just long. So the United States needs to capitalize on this opportunity. Maybe cut it to 1 right here.
Good aggressive play from Barbara. She spots Samaros drop off the net and really thumps that ball to the American's body. Set point for Brazil.
And that's why they stay away from Barbara, because of that quick left arm. She's so effective at siding out and playing defense and converting. It's hard to read. She's very deceptive, and she's got a whip, a lightning quick arm.
And here is Barbara looking to wrap up this first set for Brazil. Service is long. Another chance for the Americans. Brooke Sweat to serve. Still set point for Brazil. They just need to side out here. Set for Fernanda to finish it off the fingertips of Summer Ross. The first set goes to Brazil, 21-18. And the Americans under a little bit of pressure now. Must win the second set to take it to 3. Good play from Brazil. No question, Dane, that the American Sweat and Ross battled bravely, but just better, more consistent and quality play for Brazil gives the South Americans the opening set.
Yeah, you know, the Brazilians really took charge there, and they were steady. That's what we expect from them. They're not going to give you many unforced errors. They're going to put that pressure on you, and it's going to be a big challenge for the United States to score points. With Brooke Sweat trying to option Summer Ross multiple times, that's a good tactical move. But it's going to be a big challenge as we see the consistency of Brazil is just so strong right now.
Confirmation that Brazil take the first set 21-18. The American team of Summer Ross and Brooke Sweat must win this second set to take it to a third tiebreak finish. Here we go with the first play of set 2. Barbara Sejus with a service. Targeting Brooke Sweat over on 2. Doesn't work this time for Summer Ross. But that play does. First point down for the USA.
There's another kind of option play, that time stopped by the Brazilians, but a second opportunity for Summer Ross makes it happen.
Lovely touch on the ball from Fernanda.
I mean, the way this thing's going right now, could be an all-Brazil final. Tayana and Carol waiting in the wings for the winner of this. You better believe they're watching this. They're trying to scout it out. And there's going to be a net violation. Oh, we're going to get a touch on the block by Summer Ross, and she's going to challenge. So initially, Barbara was asking for a challenge for a net violation, but the referee called the touch on Summer Ross. Then Summer Ross said, you know what, I don't touch the ball, so the touch. And let's see if this is reversed here. There is a challenge referee in the back watching the monitors, and they will take a look to see. Did you see a touch there?
No touch at all from my side.
No touch, and this could be reversed here. It's Brazil's ball right now. No touch, but this is interesting. Now, Barbara wants to challenge a net violation. So this is getting very interesting right now. The United States, no touch. They will be awarded. But now, Barbara challenging for a net violation. I believe this is legal.
Well, our replay here, Dane, shows that it's a potential touch of the net from the ponytail, the hair of Summer Ross.
Yeah, and that should not be a violation. There's the turn. Yeah, they're not going to call that. That hair turning and touching the net is not a fault. And look at Fernanda. She's saying your hair touched the net. But that should not be a violation. If your jersey touches or something that would be part of you like that, usually it is a call, but that ponytail, we don't see that often. An interesting turn of events right there. Nonetheless, United States winning the point.
2 challenges in over 1 point there. Oh, and Brazil put the ball out of play. Now, can the United States of America just capitalize on a break of concentration here? Certainly a break of the rhythm from the Brazilian players. Is the ball going too long?
Oh, Fernanda just bringing it cross court right there. Putting that ball away with authority.
Here's Barbara with the serve for Brazil. Trailing the USA by 1, but they've already wrapped up the first set, the Brazilians, 21-18. Samaros on the attack for the USA. Over the top of the block, right down to the corner line. Beautiful play from Samaros. The break is back with the USA at 4-2.
United States putting up quite a fight right now. Samaros and Brooke Sweat, great chemistry between these two. Played in 11 FIVB events together, and there's Samaros with a tough serve, an overpass on the first contact, and she's quick to get to the net and put that ball away. So the United States really striking after that challenge controversy both ways. Of course, Brazil losing one of their challenges. The United States did not lose the challenge because they were successful. So Brazil still has a challenge in their back pocket.
Great shot from Brooke Sweat. United States of America, 4 clear. They need to win this second set. Brazil have called their timeout in this second set. It's a pretty early call as well. 1 minute of a break here, but you called it perfectly, Dave. The Brazilians never really recovered their rhythm of play after the 2 challenges, and they instigated the whole process.
And that's what beach volleyball is all about. It's a momentum sport. You can give away 1 or 2 points here and there, but you don't want to give away 3 and 4 points at a time. You see the United States has a 3-point run in the graphic in the bottom left corner, and they are starting to pull away. So I think a smart timeout for the Brazilians. Slow things down. Brazil, let's see if they can come out and turn things around. The United States putting all sorts of pressure on them.
So Samaros goes to the back of court to serve, easily recognizable with that long blonde ponytail. It's caused a little bit of controversy touching the net, but giving no points away. Fernanda sets for Barbara of Brazil. Good work from Samaros, who now looks to finish. Fernanda caught dropping off the net, but off balance. And that's a very big point for the Americans, putting pay to the timeout call by Brazil.
An impressive play. Samaros dropped off the net. That ball got hit right at her face. She's able to control it, and there's an ace. Wow, right down the middle. That middle so vulnerable, and a jump float serve kind of mesmerizing Fernanda and Barbara, calling for one another to take it.
Oh, well, that was a brave decision from Fernanda, leaving that ball, and she was right to do so. The serve just a little too long from Samaros, but the United States of America 5 points clear in this second set, but it's a set they have to win to stay in the match. Fernanda with the service, again to Brooke Sweat, who now on the attack. Little pokey of the ball.
That's a very difficult set for Brooke Sweat. You can set her high and tight, and she has time to get her feet under the ball, but low and tight, she can't get her feet under the ball, tries to poke it and just misfires.
Another beautiful shot from Samaros going over on 2. Exceptional placement of the ball. Keeps the Americans' advantage at 5.
Another great option. I'm not sure why Brazil's not making adjustments and putting a block up for that option, but that seems to be the play of choice for the United States. And the United States continues to go to Fernanda, and she's starting to heat up. We saw that cross-court hit, now the solid line hit. And they believe that they can score their points off Fernanda rather than opting to go to Barbara.
Here's Barbara with service for Brazil. at 5-9, but 1 set to 0. Float serve to Brooke Sweat. Summer Ross sets the ball nicely. Good cover from Barbara. Back set, right down the middle of the court. Once again, Brazil start to find their flow and rhythm.
They're starting to chip away at this lead, 1 point at a time. Barbara is such a smart player, silver medalist in the 2016 Olympics with her former partner Agatha, and you can never count her out. She's such a scrappy player and plays with passion on every point. That's not going to go.
Great block from Summer Ross, but it's not enough. Good cover from all the Americans players here. Oh, but Brazil still have the answers and put it away. Great work from Barbara and Fernanda. Summer Ross and Brooke Sweat of the USA throwing everything they can possibly find. But Brazil, well, have the answers, Dane.
Yeah, that was a great rally, back and forth. It could have went either way. And I always say, when you have a long rally like that, in terms of fatigue, when you lose it, you feel that fatigue. You feel all the energy. But Brazil is starting to creep back into this one as we get to about the midway point of the second set. And remember, Brazil's already got that set number 1 under their belt, so they're feeling comfortable right now.
Those points on the 5 points bar 1 to the USA in the loss, 6 scored.
Yeah, the United States had 5 of their own in a row, and then what is that, 4 of the last 5 going to Brazil, so they gave it all right back after getting that really solid lead. And you usually don't see runs like that. If you see one run by one team like that, it's usually rare, but to have both teams having these types of points run, you got to play a little more solid, a little more consistent, especially when you get a nice lead.
So the USA need to side out here, having called the timeout. Still with a 2-point advantage over Brazil. Once again, the float serve from Barbara. Once again, Summer Ross over on 2. And it's starting to frustrate the Brazilians, this over on 2, because as you said, Dan, they're struggling to find the answer to this play from the Americans. It's best they stick with it now.
Yeah, I think a loopier serve with a little more up and down would help the Brazilians. Summer Ross owning the net right now.
Great play from Summer Ross. 2 beautiful blocks and a spike to finish off. Very impressive.
Summer Ross, just an impressive player. Up, over, great timing, great seal of the net. Now, Summer Ross, the first player ever to win the under-19 and under-21 championships in the same season, doing that way back in 2010. So still waiting for her breakthrough on the international side of things, and this would be huge. Imagine if she could get into the finals of the first major series event here in 2018.
They need to win the second set if they're to do so. Fernanda with service for Brazil. Oh, another service ace. And that is spectacular from Fernanda, right down the middle of the court.
Look at the movement. It starts at Brooke Sweat, and then it starts tailing over to Summer Ross. That's where the confusion comes in. Perfect placement on that serve.
Well, we go into technical timeout with a total of 21 points on the board, and that huge advantage of 5 points for the Americans is now just down to 1, Dave. Another indication on how the Brazilians have this magical ability to keep their calm, keep their cool, stick to the game plan, and execute it so well that they're right back into this second set.
Yeah, you know, you're playing Barbara. She's played on the biggest stage in the world in the finals at the Olympic Games. in Rio in 2016. So she's not going to push the panic button when a team gets 4 or 5 points in a row. She's going to stay solid, keep her partner Fernanda in it. So it's expected that Barbara would settle things down here, and I'm sure she's strategizing to get back in. The pressure's starting to mount on the Americans, as you mentioned, Nick, by relinquishing that lead. There's 3 service aces for Brazil to 1 for the United States. That's been a slight difference, not huge, but I like what Brazil's doing, serving the middle between the Americans, and it's really manufactured a few points for them.
66 jumps, 397 kcals burned for Summer Ross. Oh, that is such an important score for Team USA, and a great shot from Brooke Sweat.
Nice set by Summer Ross, getting it out to the right hand of Brooke Sweat, able to cut it back against the grain.
Ball is out, no touch from the blocker. It's another point for the USA, 3 clear at 13-10.
That's one of those plays for Summer Ross. She's been blocking so many hits that time the intimidation factor, Fernanda trying to go around her.
Fernanda Shanks to serve receive. Brazil are out of position here. 14-10. Great play from America once again, and now as we reach the business end of this second set, they're back with a 4-point lead.
I give it up to the Americans, who have kept their calm despite this Brazilian run. Look at the defense by Summer Ross.
Well, certainly the USA making Brazil work for every point out there. Third time lucky for Brazil to finally get it away, but spectacular play from the young Americans. They're not going to give this one up without a fight. Barbara with service for Brazil. Over on 2 this time is covered by the Brazilians. That's the first time that tactical play has not worked for the USA, Dane. And maybe it's time to rethink it.
Yeah, they've done it quite a bit. It's been a lot of their offense for the United States. I think they're going to have to go conventional and have Summer Ross set Brooke Sweat a few times here. She doesn't look ready there and rolls that right into the bottom of the net. So a lot of too tight. Remember, I said you can't set that ball tight. Brooke Sweat at 5'8", going up against the 6'2" Fernanda, and if the ball's up at the net, Fernanda's gonna win that joust situation more often than not. And the United States needs to make an adjustment right now. They need this 15th point right here. If Brazil takes the lead here, it could be real trouble for the Americans.
Barbara serving Brooke Sweat. Over on 2 from Summer Ross. And she's got there. They heard you, Dane. 15-14. Big point on the board for Team USA. Brooke Sweat, Summer Ross, who have to win this second set to stay in the match. Take the lead back once again. Summer Ross will serve for the USA. Good shot, good play from America. The break is back on for Team USA.
This team from the United States really came in with a focus. Great great off-season training, and to start this first major, every match they seem to have a solid game plan. They stick to that game plan, and it's been really effective for them. Remember, last night when they were playing Canada, they just served Sarah Pavan every single ball. They took Melissa Humana-Paredes completely out of it, and right now, they're serving it down the middle, trying to confuse the Brazilians, but when Barbara Seijas gets involved, it seems like she's putting the ball away. For the United States, I would focus on Fernanda. She's been known to give away a few points here and there, whereas Barbara has a little more experience and a little more solid in the clutch.
It's a good call, Dane. They did that so well with Humana-Paredes yesterday evening, and they stuck to their guns. And that's what brought them such a solid win in the quarterfinals. It's looking a slightly different story in the semis here. Over the top with the shot. Oh, lovely play. Well, under a lot of pressure, Brooke Sweat delivers to take the break back to the USA at 17-15.
Look at that shot. Just out of reach of Barbara. Brooke Sweat, that is what her signature. Oh, straight height winning right there. That ball being set on top of the net. 6'1" versus 6'2", and it's the long arms of Fernanda just gets that poke shot over.
Barbara with service. This time it's picked up by Summer Ross. And that's a very important shot. You called it earlier, Dane. Summer Ross coming further and further across the court to try and pick up that serve receive.
Yeah, she's pinching to the middle to really take some pressure off of Brooke Sweat.
Big shot from Barbara. Side switch.
Now wave your hands to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right.
1.5 kilometers for Barbara, 1.2 kilometers for Sweat. But Barbara, 372 kcal. She's working hard. That serve is just a little too deep. And maybe that kcal calculation tells us that Barbara is just not quite as sharp now as she was at the start of this match. Brooke Sweat with service. Serving to Fernanda. Oh, good shot. Fernanda puts a very important spike down for Brazil.
Yeah, that's huge right there. United States feeling it, though. They're just 2 points away from tying this match up and sending us to a third set, which would be a big surprise after that solid victory in the first set by Brazil.
USA need to side out here. Brooke Sweat again on the end of the service from Brazil. Fernanda sets for Barbara. Oh, it's a great block from Summer Ross, but again Brazil keep the ball up. Oh, and now the USA are in a little bit of trouble. Scores tied at 19-all, but Brazil have the first set against their names. The USA must win this second set to take it to 3.
Looked like that block was going to hit the sand, but when you cover a block, you save that point, and it becomes very frustrating. There, Ross trying to grovel and make it happen. This next point, extremely important. When you're receiving serve, you have that advantage, so the United States has to pass this ball well and put it away.
Oh, the over-on-2 tactic pays dividends. Set ball for the USA. That was a bit of a gamble, but it paid off.
I can't believe it. That was about 5-6 feet off the net. She's hitting blind right into Fernanda's block, and she somehow tools it and gets away with it. How long can they pull that play off? And I guess they're going to push the limits as far as possible.
American fans are on their feet in anticipation of Summer Ross putting this serve away to take this match to a third set. Not the best of serve receives from Fernanda. Oh, but Brazil tie the scores at 20 all. America need a side out now, and they need it quickly. Fernanda serving Brooke Sweat. On two again for Summer Ross. What a remarkable stat this will be at the end of the match.
This is incredible, and you can see the frustration. The Brazilians don't really know what to do. This is where strategy really starts to play a major role.
Barbara now attacks for Brazil. Cover is there. The ball is it's too deep. Oh, set point disappears again. Quick side switch.
But you know, we're always looking for those turning points. This is a beautiful read by Sweat. And then instead of setting the ball, Summer Ross tries to go back to what's been working, the over on two. She just misses the end line by a couple inches.
Barbara to serve for Brazil. Again, the target, as always, is Brooke Sweat. Over the top of the block, Barbara gets one hand to it. Fernanda sets for her partner. Over the top of the block, one hand from Brooke Sweat, a hand from Summer Ross. But it is now match point for Brazil.
Yeah, just like that, the United States looked like they were in control. Look at the sacrifice. Barbara completely elevated off the sand, getting that ball up in the air, and then she goes right back at Brooke Sweat with a line shot of her own to get the advantage.
USA must side out here, or the American dream is over.
Oh, Barbara was on that, and almost a little bit forced by Brooke Sweat putting up Summer Ross. But here's the net violation. Fernanda pressing a little bit too hard, letting the United States live to see another point.
Summer Ross with service for the USA. Oh, that's a service ace! Flag stay down! Can you believe that? With the heat on, and at a crucial moment of the match, and Summer Ross serves an ace.
That was absolutely incredible. Right over the left shoulder of Fernanda, and we've seen her let a few close ones go. And that one, as close as can be, touches just the outside of the line.
Set point once again for Team USA. For the third time of asking, can the Americans take this second set? Good set. Over the top of the block. Well, textbook play from Brazil to tie the scores once again. Remember, America is trying to stay in the match. The Brazilians, with success here, are looking to wrap it up.
Pressure definitely on the United States. They need this 24th point to keep that advantage.
Oh, no. This time, maybe Summer Ross just moves across a little too far. Match point for Brazil.
Give credit, Fernanda. Jump float serve right in the middle of the court. You're right, Summer Ross, as she's done before, trying to take that middle ball and relieve some pressure, but that time she gets there just a little bit too late, and it goes off her right arm and back into the stands.
Fernanda with a deep serve that is too deep. Well read, well followed by the American duo. Both players watching the ball, hoping that it was too long. And that hope keeps them in the match. 24, all tied. Brooke Sweat with service. Fernanda on the attack. And again, match point for Brazil. There's a challenge coming from America.
Yeah, I think there was a net violation on Fernanda. I saw it, and I was curious to see if there was going to be a challenge, and the referee, I think, is going to allow it. Yes, the United States is challenging that Fernanda was into the net. This is a huge challenge right now. If the United States wins this challenge, they would have the advantage instead of Brazil having the 25-24 advantage. And I think she hit it with her body on the way down. The challenge referee will be taking a look in the back, has all access to all those monitors and those 50. And yes, they are calling a net violation on Brazil. Just a micro touch of the net on the follow through. And wow, the United States really living dangerously at this point.
Exceptional judgment from Summer Ross at such a crucial point in the match. It is now 25-24 to the USA, set point. Now Barbara is going to the second referee.
That must be a 24-24 on the board. Barbara is asking for that. I think it's 24-24, by the way.
Controversy on what the
No, and then we recover.
would be
It's time now. We have the advantage.
trying to work it out. I believe before that last ball was tied up, and so the United States should have a 1-point advantage.
I'm with you there,
As
James.
they do now.
Match point for Brazil, but now that was a challenge. USA gets the point.
Get back, and we need to play.
I think that's right. Referee needs to take control of this situation.
There's a yellow card, a warning for delay of game. So basically, Brazil was in a side-out situation, able to have the advantage, but after the net violation, that gave the United States the 1-point advantage.
Well, Barbara ties the scores with that lovely cut shot, 25 all.
It was interesting that Barbara was arguing, because if they had the lead, that would have been the match before that challenge, and that wasn't the case. So when she looks at the video, she'll understand. Oh, on two, forced and way out of bounds. That ball 10 feet off the net. There's no way you can run an on-two situation there. And the United States, after some smart challenge plays, that last decision may be costly.
Match point for Brazil. Barbara with the service. Again to Brooke Sweat, over on two from Ross. Oh, she makes it count when it's really needed most.
I can't believe it. The Brazilians are thinking, we know what you're going to do. We're set up perfectly to try to stop this thing, but we can't stop it.
And America will not let this one go. Fernanda now. Oh, great save from Brooke Sweat. And the ball is out of play. Advantage back with the USA at 27-26.
Oh, ball just out of bounds. Barbara went over and took a look. I think she was thinking of challenging, and Brooke Sweat somehow gets the left hand to keep this ball alive. Here's the shot that ended up so close as it lands. Just
Here we go. Fernanda shanks the serve receive, and she puts the ball out. And we are going to a third set. What an amazing fight back for the USA. 28-26. Barbara still complaining to the referee. It looks like there's going to be a challenge on whether that ball was good or not. Dane, your thoughts?
That ball was out. It looked like it was about an inch long. But I don't blame Brazil for challenging. If you have another challenge, go for it. Take a look. There it is, an inch long. Doesn't hit the back line. Ball is out of bounds. The United States wins the second set, and somehow they pulled it off and will force a third set. Just an incredible turn of events back and forth between this rivalry between the United States and Brazil.
We're going to a third set in the second women's semi-final here. Brooke Sweat and Summer Ross of the United States of America have dug deep and taken the second to stay in the match. Set 3 will be a real sprint. 15 points with side switch on 5. The question now is, can the Americans, having given so much effort and energy to take that second set at 28-26, maintain their performance, keep up that level of play, and take a spot in the final by winning this third and final set?
I think a big key here to watch is the over on 2 from the United States. That is what they're going to do. USA serve placement, check that out right there. Fernanda getting just about every single serve, a few right down the middle, but the United States strategy, go to Fernanda. They believe that she's going to give up more points than Barbara Sejas. It has worked so far, just barely, of course, after multiple challenges on both sides of the net. This a quick one to 15 points. Can Brazil stop the over on 2 strategy from the United States? And can the United States continue to pick on Fernanda and try to pull off a few points and make it to their first final in a major series event?
Referee not ready to start this third set. First set going to Brazil, 21-18. Second set to the United States of America, 28-26. Finally getting that 2-point advantage to tuck away that second set. Now we're into the third, and it is the first team to 15 and by 2 points. Here's Summer Ross to get the action underway for America. Sticking to the same plan, serving to Fernanda. Fernanda on the attack. Cross court, one hand there for Brooke Sweat. Not quite getting the control of the ball.
Brooke Sweat, footwork in the right spot, but she digs out with one hand. Not sure why. If she got 2 hands on it, she could control that much better. And here, this is where it gets interesting. Brazil trying to pinpoint Brooke Sweat, but Brooke Sweat trying to tee up her partner on the second contact. It's been a strategy that's worked so far. And right now, maybe the Brazilians outthinking the strategy, trying to serve a little too tough. That ball ends up about 3 feet long.
Clearly, both teams are feeling a little bit of the pressure here, understandably so. Here's Brooke Sweat with service. Oh, Brazil giving the USA a little bit of their own medicine there. Barbara going over on 2, fooling Summer Ross, who was at the net, expecting another play from the Brazilians. Fernanda this time figures it out. Referee.
Now, this might be a challenge by the United States. I don't know if there was a touch on the block, but Fernanda said she didn't touch it, and we're getting no argument from the United States, so point for Brazil.
First break as well for the Brazilians at 3-1. Fernanda Alves with service. Summer Ross with a nice set for Brooke Sweat. Does that go down the line? Flags stay down, and it's a score point back.
No touch. The line judge called the touch. Fernanda is saying, I did not touch this ball. And the United States given a point. Not sure what the referee is saying here. It's definitely a challengeable situation. You get 2 challenges per set. So much confusion between the Brazilians and the head referee, Carlos Rivera. He has really earned his money here this afternoon.
He'll be happy when this one's over.
Yeah. Both teams really on him. It denied the touch, and the United States gives it right back.
Summer Ross just a lapse in concentration there, puts the service ball into the net. The break back with Brazil at 4-2, but this is a third set. And the score target is 15, not 21. It's surprising how quick 15 comes around. Barbara with service. Sejas. Good play from Summer Ross.
Summer Ross has become so good at that over on 2 contact, knowing exactly where to go on the court. If she doesn't get it down the first time, she usually does if she has it a second attempt.
Such an effective point-scoring play for the Americans. Here's Fernanda on the attack for Brazil.
Oh, perfect shot by Fernanda. The retreating Summer Ross had usually been digging this ball, but it's never been this sharp and close to the line. This is perfectly executed.
Fernanda, float serve to Brooke Sweat. Doesn't work this time for Summer Ross. That over on 2 shot.
Yeah, that was a shank of a pass by Brooke Sweat, and an emergency play, left-handed, falling to her side. Summer Ross tries to save it, but another point for Brazil.
Now that's the play that the Americans are hoping to get a little more of. Summer Ross stepping in to take the first serve receive, allowing Brooke Sweat to set her up to attack and put the ball away.
It's a risky play. Summer has to be careful not to take too much court and fall out of balance, but she's doing a good job so far.
Lovely shot from Brooke Sweat.
So good. You know she's not going to hit the ball. It's a matter of, is she going to drop shot short? Is she going to go deep to the corner? This time just over the shoulder of Fernanda, and all Fernanda can do is watch. Wow, the accuracy of Brooke Sweat.
Summer Ross, good service to Fernanda. And Fernanda now over the top of the block, and again taking full advantage of her height advantage. Fernanda Alves. Brazil with a 2-point break advantage at 7-5. Barbara Seixas will take the service.
Still getting away with it. Fernanda has to commit to that power cross shot that Summer Ross is hitting. It's getting outside of her left arm. She needs to line that up a little more in the middle of her midline for Fernanda if she's going to stop that. Brooke Sweat had the dig, but gave a free ball to Brazil, and you can't give a free ball to Barbara because she will make you pay for it. Brooke Sweat needs to dig that ball on the American side of the net so they can use their contact and execute offense. Instead, a free ball results in a point for Brazil.
The winner of this match goes to play for the gold up against Tayana and Carolina. The bronze medal match will be against the Germans. Summer Ross unable to put the ball away, and Brazil make the Americans pay. 3 points clear at 9-6. Total of 15 on the board, so another side switch.
You know what was effective about that play? Summer Ross was cheating a little to the middle, trying to take more court, and what did Brazil finally do? They mixed it up. They went down Summer Ross's line on the service, and that threw the Americans a bit off, and that's why the United States is going to call a timeout here and think about things.
Well, they've been in tougher situations than this and managed to hold on, the USA. But again, they're going to need to finish off this third set with absolute commitment. Because right now the advantage is with Brazil. Ace service aces. Well, Brazil on top on just about all of the key stats. You like that stat, Dane, don't you? When they're not afraid to make a mistake with their service to get those 4 aces back in return.
Yeah, because more times than not, the receiving team's going to win the point. So it takes some risks. You know, you have some errors, but you also get some aces. And Brazil has played it well. It's really going to be interesting who they serve. Are they going to try to serve Brooke Sweat, where the Americans have had a lot of success going over on 2? Or will we see what we saw in the last play, where Brazil pinned Summer Ross to her line and served her away for the first time in the match? And they do it again.
Oh, and that could be the turning point of this match. Wow. As Brazil go 10-6 clear of the United States of America.
And that's what happened. They kind of have put to sleep Summer Ross. Has she had a conventional side out this entire match? No, because she hasn't had any serves. Now, in the clutch, at the end, Brazil is going to Summer Ross and trying to test her.
Oh, and she has to find the answers. 11-6. We're heading to 15, not 21 in this third set tiebreak.
Wow, this is really smart play by Brazil. They basically lulled Summer Ross to sleep into hitting over on 2. Now they're serving her consistently, and they've scored multiple points.
Well, that's 1 point back. 7-11 for the USA here.
Isn't it crazy, Nick? The battle back and forth, the strategy staying the same for so long, and then one strategic change-up, and all of a sudden, the damage has been done with the Brazilians having a 4-point lead.
Great shot from Brooke Sweat. Couldn't come at a more important moment either. I totally agree, Dane. A real clever, smart, tactical beach volleyball from Brazil.
Yeah, it was really close. They served Summer down the line, caught her off guard, scored a point. The United States calls a timeout. They come out. Brazil gives Summer 2 more balls, and they end up 1 blocked, 1 erred in the net. That's 3 points, and that's the difference we're looking at right now.
Well, Brazil have called their timeouts, and why not? Still in a very good position, 11-8. It's 1 set all, but only one of these 2 teams on court can go into the gold medal match. The loser will play for bronze.
I know this United States crowd would love to see a USA-Brazil final. As we mentioned earlier, Tayana and Carol already in the final from Brazil, and the winner of this will meet up with them. If Barbara and Fernanda win, of course, we have an all-Brazil final, and you know the crowd loves the fall the United States way for them to get back in it, because as I said, some of the damage has been done by Brazil late here in the third.
It's a good serve from Summer Ross. Oh, great play from Summer Ross. Could this be the turnaround that the crowd are hoping for? And I think deep down inside we are as well, Dave.
Well, you know, it's always more interesting when you have different countries against one another in a final. But all 4 athletes out there right now are battling, and that's what you want to see, that passion. Blazing hot and humid down on center court. But the players haven't flinched.
Good play from Fernanda, maintaining Brazil's 3-point advantage. 12. Barbara Seixas with that service. Great play from Summer Ross. Right now she can do no wrong and keeps the hopes and dreams of the USA firmly alive here, right on track.
Over on 2, working once again. Now the United States needs a defensive miracle in the backcourt. Brooke Sweat, the domestic AVP Tour 4-time, to stay up and over, really guarding that line.
Brooke Sweat with service and an attempt to tie the scores here. Fernanda for Brazil attacks. Summer Ross nor Brooke Sweat have the answer to that attacking play. And it's 13 points to 11. Their break advantage back with Brazil.
Right in the seam right there. Summer Ross taking a little too much line. She needs to line up her right hand with the hitting arm of Fernanda.
Great shot from Brooke Sweat, just when it matters most.
How about that? Looked like Brazil was gonna score a point, but so smooth is Brooke Sweat. Just pulling that ball out of the net. Summer keeping it in play, giving them another opportunity, and then just slicing and dicing down the line. Brooke Sweat so accurate. Barbara in the backcourt, not even close to that one. 13-12.
Summer Ross to serve. Good dig and save from Brooke Sweat. Can she finish to tie the scores? Good cover from Barbara, who now attacks for Brazil. And she puts the ball out of play. 13-all. And America are back in the game here.
I can't believe it. Brooke Sweat tried to do a little rainbow corner shot. Barbara didn't flinch, dug it up, and looked like she had a perfect open court to go down the line. And what happens? It ends up just a foot wide. Barbara cannot believe she missed that opportunity, all tied up at 13.
And Summer Ross needs to capitalize now. Here's Fernanda attacking. Lovely cut and angle on the ball and shots. Match point now for Brazil. Can Ross and Sweat for the USA save another point? Barbara Seixas will serve for Brazil. It's all tied at 14-all.
I can't believe that. Right down the middle, looked like it might be an ace. Somehow Brooke Sweat got there and lifted the ball above the net, and Summer Ross able to get her feet under it, reach high, rip it down the middle, and we're deadlocked once again at 14.
Brooke and Ross keep fighting for the USA. Sweat Brooke now. Brooke Sweat, I should say. As service. Float serve to Fernanda. Brazil attack. Oh, again, Fernanda is getting a lovely angle on that shot. Match point for the second time of asking for Team Brazil.
Angle once again, Fernanda. She's gone to that in the last couple of plays. And now pressure on the Americans.
Summer Ross puts the ball away.
Solid.
15-all.
Solid. Summer Ross, just nerves of steel. Cold-blooded right there, coming in and just making it look easy when all the pressure on her side. Can the United States get the advantage here?
Summer Ross with service. It's a big serve. There's the set. And again, that angled shot from Fernanda. The last 3 points have been successful with the same pattern of play. Match point for Brazil.
I think they're trying to bait Fernanda into poking that line shot. It just, she hasn't fallen for it.
Barbara with service.
Oh.
Over on two, works again for Summer Ross.
that was about 8 feet off the net. I didn't think she would go for it in this situation, but she reaches high, gets her elbow up, and gets on top of the ball, and Brazil cannot believe it. Wow, Summer Ross has been incredible on that second contact.
Brooke Sweat with service. Back set from Barbara. Fernanda didn't quite get a hand on that. And there was not a lot of speed on the ball, which caught the Americans out. Almost like a fumble of a shot. But it's match point again for Brazil. And again, Brooke Sweat and Summer Ross need to save the match. What a great dig from Summer Ross. She's up. Oh, and the ball is out.
The ball's out, but Fernanda's saying that the ball may have hit Summer Ross's back on the way out, and I believe they want to call a challenge to see if there was a touch after the hit off of the block. And here's the interesting thing. They're saying it's being denied. That X by the referee is saying that it cannot be challenged. So that's very interesting. Oh, because you know what? It's not considered a block touch.
So we're all tied at 17-all. Summer Ross with service for the USA. That ball is out of play. What a brave attempt at an ace. Well, match point for Brazil. It's the 8th match point for the Brazilians, showing how resilient Team USA have been here. And that resilience is needed once more. Barbara with service. Short float serve to Summer Ross, who's now on the attack. Over the top of the block. Barbara has that ball out of play. And it's 18-all.
Barbara guessed right. She anticipated, ran down the line, got it up, but could not control it. It goes over the net and out of bounds. And I have never seen a team dodge so many bullets. The United States right here hanging on. Maybe it's fate that they make it to the final.
Well, even disagreeing with what should be played, the Brazilians on court, but Barbara pulls it off. 9th match point for Brazil. Fernanda with service. Deep float serve to Summer Ross. There's the set from her partner Brooke Sweat. And a great shot from Summer Ross. Win or lose, Dane, Summer Ross is the lady of the game for me.
Wow. I mean, wow. Her offense has been awesome. Just when you think she's in an unhittable position, she gets her feet there, gets her elbow up, and really reaches high and puts that ball in the corner. She's tagging a lot of lines. She's been so consistent, and she has just really matured over the last few years. She is steady.
Summer Ross with service to Fernanda. Barbara sets her partner. Oh, almost had the ball up there. But it is another match point. 10th match point for Brazil.
I really can't believe that they allowed her to hit that angle shot once again. I thought Brooke Sweat would be on it. She's in position. She just doesn't pop this ball up high enough. And can the United States dodge yet another match ball?
And that is it. On the 10th match point, Brazil go into the final. What an amazing, tenacious performance from the USA. But finally, Brazil take the semi-final 2-1, winning the first 21-18, losing the second at 28-26, and the third tiebreak 21-19. For me, Summer Ross still the woman of the match, but Brazil go into the gold medal final, and the USA will go against Germany in the battle for the bronze.
Taking a look at match point right there, the poke, and here is the winning shot. Fernanda right down the middle. Brooke Sweat, Summer Ross gave it their full effort. But in the end, Fernanda, with an open net, knows exactly what to do with it. The United States played spectacular volleyball. Strategies on both sides of the net were impressive. It came down to overtime in the third set, 21-19, and so close for the Americans trying to make their first final in a major series event. It's going to be an all-Brazil final. Barbara and Fernanda up against Carol and Tayana. So, wow.
Confirmation that the second semi-final goes to Brazil 2-1 against the United States of America. What a battle that turned out to be in the third and final set. 10 match points to Brazil, but they pull it off. And as Dane has just pointed out, it will be an all-Brazilian final. With Tayana and Carol, who beat the Germans in the first semi, meeting Barbara and Fernanda, who have just won live here at the Red Bull Beach Arena. Let's go down to Julius Brink. who is with the victorious Brazilian duo, and hear their take on this scintillating semi-final match.
Girls, first of all, congratulations. You must be very exhausted. 10 match points. Did you believe it at the end?
10 match points. I don't know where we are. During the game, you don't think, you just next ball, next ball, next ball. And I think that works that way.
It was a real nail-biter at the end. What made you believe? Has it been experienced at the end compared to the Americans?
We already knew before that it was going to be a tough match. So we have learned from our past experience that we should never give up. The game is never over until it's really done. So I think that's our mentality for this match as well, and it worked.
So for sure you play Brazilians, you're good friends. We saw that match a couple of times. What are you expecting? You're the favorite. Are you aiming for gold, right?
No, I don't think we are the favorite. I think it will be a really hard game, and we know each other very well because we play against very well so much. So I think it will be a hard game.
I still believe you are the favorites. Wish you good luck for the final. Thank you, girls.
So an all-Brazilian final when the United States of America will play Germany in the bronze medal match. Well, the stats are incredibly close, but the story tells that Brazil just come up on top after 10 match points to book their spot in the final. From Nick Fellows and from Dame Blanchard, many thanks for your company. It's goodbye for now.